in a sentence? Makes sense. Good for you.
But he has to read the sentence.
He's going to keep reading to see if it makes sense. Go ahead, Justin.
They said they could.
What would that word have to be if you said the other one was wizard?
It's just like
Just a second. They said they could, say the wizard again, like you said the first time. It's okay. They could wizard the most beautiful cloth in the world. What's the problem, Justin? I could tell something's bothering you. It doesn't what?
Make sense?
It doesn't make sense, that word wizard. What do we do if a word doesn't make sense?
Skip.
We skipped it, which Justin did in the beginning. He did the right thing, but we have to look to see if other words in the sentence or the paragraph help us. What are these men trying to do? Tim wants to tell you what they're doing. You know what they're doing, Justin? What are they working with?
Cloth.
Cloth. Good for you. What do we call a person? What does a person do with cloth? What does anybody that has some cloth? What do they often do with cloth? Sew. They might sew, right? But what if the cloth isn't even put together? What do we call somebody that puts all these threads together? Look at the word, Justin. Do you see any letter pattern to help you? Look at the word, W-E-A.
Waivers.
Say it again.
Waivers.
All right, that's a good one. He says waivers. Look at that, those two letters, Justin, those two vowels.
Waivers.
Look at the first two vowels. What are they?
E and A.
E and A. What's the rule? You think.
First one does the talking.
Second one just walks along, right? If that first one's doing the talking, what's the first vowel, Justin?
Weavers.
Good for you. It says its own name. E says its own name. All right? And the other one, Justin, are they telling the truth? Are they, what do you call someone who doesn't tell the truth?
Liars.
Well, that's a big snark word, one that breaks all the rules, so we're not going to try sounding that one out. Then it makes sense. All right. Before we finish up for today, a good reader, before they put something away, kind of goes through a summary in their head first. And then tomorrow we'll begin. We've got a lot of questions to ask, but we have to begin language workshops. Who can give me just a brief summary, because we haven't really gotten into the story a lot. Someone who hasn't been thinking out loud today. Most people have. Kylie's been thinking out loud. You want to give a summary, Brian?
No.
Yeah.
I don't
Want to think about it?
Trevor.
Trevor's been working. Go ahead,
Jessica?
Rebecca.
There's an emperor that
Let's listen to her summary.
there's an emperor that really likes clothes, and these two men came and they were liars.
All right, and two men are coming with something that is not the truth, right? Tomorrow we'll make some predictions on them.
Now the prediction for the next
Oh,
page.
Justin has to give, but we're not going to go to the next page. Could you save your prediction for tomorrow? All right, Jessica, stay right where you are. Is there,
Jessica's prediction. The book looks away.
up on the top, Jessica. You're going to go to Mrs. Friedman now. Go that way around. All right, we'll see you in a half hour. All right.
Lift that up. Thanks. Just lift it.
All right, everybody have their language workshop sheet out in front of them. Shh. I don't see your language workshop sheet.
Guys, just get up for a second line with the camera back. Thanks.
All right, point to Wednesday. That's today. Right. Now, yesterday we didn't have it. Just ignore it. I know, just ignore it if you can. We didn't have it yesterday because you had a test. So on Tuesday, just write test. And then we'll know that we're not going to do it. You do, except table is kind of used, so we'll just kind of have you sit like in the comfortable chair over there and kids will come to you, okay? Make yourself comfortable.
There you go.
Okay. All right. All right, after your written test on Tuesday, girls, last night I took home your troll stories, and I know a lot of you say, I finished it, Mrs. Bayers, but you know what some people did? They took their story map and they copied what they had on the story map on the story paper. What does every troll tale have to begin like? Either once upon a time or long ago or something like that, right? Then when you go on, a few people did some really neat things. Can I share yours, Trevor? When Trevor took his story map, which started out, he had his characters and he had the setting and he had the problem and the goal. He just had some kind of plain things that were happening. Like for his first event, he said that, where did you have that, Trevor? He said the trolls are playing a game with rocks, and one kind of hit a fox. All right, let me read to you how Justin began his story. Trevor. Well, he's close enough. Once upon a time, he said. Listening, Matt? Once upon a time, two hairy trolls were playing a game with rocks. And one of the trolls, and he goes on with his story, but he described the troll. He didn't just say two trolls, even though his story map only said two trolls. He started to add describing words when he was going to write the tale. Then he starts talking about his fox that comes along. And in the story that he wrote, he says, the fox looked huge. He had glowing red eyes. Interesting words that Trevor's putting into his writing. All right. If you think that even if you think your troll tale is complete, I want you to all today, for the rough draft part that you're going to do, excuse me 1 minute. Matt, would you go with her today to math? Yeah, go with Mrs. Fitterman, okay? Excuse me, back to this. Even if you thought that it was complete, read your tale again and see if you can put in some interesting either adjectives, describing words that would make it sound more exciting.
Verbs.
Or say it again, Justin.
Verbs.
Verbs. He's such a good thinker today. Verbs. Get those exciting verbs in there. Don't just have them walking. Have them doing something else. If you need some help, we have on the back over there wall action words that we had. Remember we brainstormed that day? We have the trolls squealing and growling and waggling and grabbing and whatever else. Just go back over to there and look for some of those. All right? So for your writing time, when you do write, keep working on those stories so that when in the computer lab we can continue to type it on. Monday we're going to go there. If you're reading, choose your book, magazine, and today, boys and girls, I'm going to ask people not to read charts because we don't want to trip on the wires. All right? The follow-up activities, I don't think anybody is ready for those right now anyhow. Any questions before we begin? All right, the 4 people that signed up for Listening Center, if you have trouble with the headsets, just put it down and we'll try to straighten it out for tomorrow. Questions?
I Are we allowed to work on this during writing?
Yes. You have a question?
Do we still do the KV5 activity?
If you're totally finished, yeah, there's room there. The two people that were assigned to the computer for today, we're going to save that for tomorrow. All right? All right? Grandma's in here, Justin's grandma's in here, just like every Wednesday, to listen to anybody who wants to read to her. She's going to be comfortable in that seat. All right? All right, just continue your work while I'll set the timer now.
Okay, so you guys wait for
You start writing.
helping people read. And excuse the people.
Okay. You have a problem? No. They've got 4 people. Oh, no, you were the 5th one. You'll be on tomorrow. All right, I want to conference with you with your tail anyhow. All set? All right, you can just sit down and read. Just at your desk, or you want to go to the beanbag chair and read your story behind there? Where did Meredith go? I saw that in your book. That's good. Did you do that on your own? Just come up? That's a good idea. When I was reading it, it's a good idea to do that first. Okay, you guys all set? Shh. When that's on your ear, you can't talk. Can I borrow your seat while you're sitting over there for a while? All right, let's go back to your troll tale, though, instead of this one for today, because we really need to get those in the computer.
I crossed some of your stuff out because it didn't make sense to me.
All right, oh, you did what she did? You put your describing words here? All right, now where's your, oh, you just have this, didn't I read that you began your story?
Yeah.
Where did you put that? I handed those back today. There it is, yeah. I think you maybe have to organize your desk a little bit later on. All right, all right. Well, you can leave that list of describing words. Do you have describing words there for your troll?
Yeah.
Where'd you just? Oh, here it is. Okay. All right, now let's see how you've moved along, and then let's see how maybe you can make it better. All right, why don't you read it to me?
In a small town far away, trolls were throwing stones, boulders, and pellets at the people. They got mad and made a plan, but I didn't think that made sense.
Ah, that doesn't make sense
because
to
the
me
teacher
either.
crossed it out.
Oh, when the substitute
Yeah.
was in here? Okay, why doesn't that make sense to you? Who got mad?
The people.
The people got mad. I think that's why she kind of thought it might be that, but let's see. Go back again and let's see how we can make it better. In a small town far away,
Trolls were
throwing stones, boulders, and pellets
at the people.
at the people, period, all right?
Okay.
Now, you just want to, could we describe those trolls? What kind of trolls were they?
Like they were mean.
All right, they were mean. What else could you say besides mean?
Let's see, I could say
But you are not
fierce.
Fierce, mean, good words. So you could just put fierce and mean before trolls and it would make it a more interesting story. Small town fire. Fierce, mean trolls. You want to put it in there now? Okay. Okay.
What is it here?
That's all right.
Said the prince.
All right. In a small town far away,
Very
fierce,
good to
mean
ride on.
trolls were throwing stones, boulders.
Now you will ride on it all the way home. So they did.
Oh.
And they all
So
agreed.
meaning the people got mad and made a plan?
Yeah, I didn't think that some of this made sense, the characters and stuff, because, like, I didn't see any characters in it.
You mean so far you haven't named your characters?
I have their names.
You have them there, but maybe you don't need to name the characters yet, because these are just some mean, fierce trolls
Yeah.
throwing pellets and boulders at people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you start to tell me, why were they doing this?
Because, well, I said, like, in here that they had the hill in the church, and, I suddenly just, he told me people at the people, so I put people.
Oh,
But
so
after that, I thought it didn't make sense to myself.
so this is when Mrs. Chiniski was helping you and you kind of got confused? Well, you're the author, right?
Yes.
So what does a good author have to do? Just put a line through it, and if you need more room,
Okay,
what could you do?
up here.
If you can't fit it up there,
Cut and tape. Cut and tape.
cut and tape.
I was gonna say that.
All right, so if you need to cut and tape, get another piece of paper, write what you need, and tape it, all right?
Well, cut it out.
Do you want to work on it for a while, and I'll come back to you after you've tried to make sense out of it?
My jaws hurt.
What's the matter?
My jaws hurt.
Your jaw's hurting you? Not way back there, the front.
It's gone.
I know your tooth is gone. Go get a drink of water, and I bet you your jaw will feel better.
They thought because there was stones to go with the bread I baked for Ned. Baked for Ned that what a fellow baked for Ned in the morning. This is the vinegar in a crack sitting near the kitchen crack to go with the greens washed and clean, to go with the cheese brown and yellow, to go with the bread I baked for Ned.
Very good.
Baked for Ned that what a fellow baked for Ned in the morning.
What school did you go to?
Okay.
What did you have to do?
My mom wanted to get a bigger house.
I see. That's a good idea.
This is the oil in a bowl. These are the olive oil to go with the vinegar in the crack sitting near the kitchen pot. To go with the greens washed and clean. To go with the cheese round and yellow. To go with the bread I baked for Ned. Hunter, so like
Is your story not making sense to you?
I just
All
figured
right, why don't you start reading it from the beginning, and let's see
I
if we...
forgot that the trolls keep rubbing ointment on.
All right, well, let's start from the beginning, see where you need to add.
Upon a time, there were 7 trolls, and one day a hunter came for food, and 7 trolls spotted him.
Okay,
And they got shot.
that's okay.
Slingshot to go with the owls, to go with the vinegar in a crack sitting near the kitchen pot, to go with
7 trolls that are out, and a hunter comes, and when they spotted him, they shot slingshots at him? Why would they do that?
because they didn't want him to they thought they were gonna hit them.
Oh, so they thought the hunter was going to bother them. So do you think maybe we need to know that they were afraid? Where could you fit that in there? You could do a cut and tape, all right? And 7 trolls spotted him, all right? How about in there? Do you think it would work there if they were afraid? How about, you could probably add that in there without a cut and tape because there's room.
Where?
Tell, right up here. Could you tell how they were scared? It's scary.
I had to get new pencil. My other ones were getting too small.
All right.
I was gonna add more just when I was gonna start an ad.
Well, it's not important to add more. It's
Oh, that's Kyle.
reading and see where you could make it more interesting. Sit down and then you can, nice and loud for me.
The trolls were having a slingshot fight. Then they dug a hole in the ground.
All right, let's stop right here. Now here, how does a tale begin? A fairy tale. All right, either long ago or once upon a time. You can begin it either way, and you can kind of fit it up there, right? What are you going to choose to do? Long ago or once upon a time?
Long ago.
Okay.
Go.
All right, long ago.
The trolls were having a slingshot fight.
All right, now tell me about these trolls. Are you going to tell me any more detail about them, or just like, do I think that there's just trolls like all over the hills or something?
Well,
Seems like there's a big. Are there two trolls, or is there a whole pack of trolls? Or?
I was gonna write it down right when I ended. I was gonna say, there was like about 20 trolls or 30 trolls.
So there's a great big group.
And then more, there were 20, and then more came, and then they dug a hole. I have to put it inside here somewhere, and then
All right, let's go back to your story map and see if you can make it make sense here. What's the problem in your story?
the
Trolls
trolls
keep
rubbing ointment on the dog.
one troll keeps, is that the problem in your story? That a troll keeps rubbing ointment on the dog?
Well, I was gonna write that down, but I didn't get to it yet.
Oh, you're kind of leading up to that
Yeah.
problem. So this is just sort of, you're setting talking about the setting of the story. So the setting is that there's just this whole
Kinda
group.
At the end.
It's kind of a bunch of trolls just having this fight, and then the dog's going to enter the picture later?
Yeah.
All right, has he come in yet?
No.
Oh, well then, let's talk about that. If one of the main characters is the problem with the dog, is that the problem?
Well, the dog comes with the people and stuff because, like, they're walking and then the trolls start shooting up with the slingshots, and then
Just at people and the dog
Yeah.
that are walking?
and then they get help, and then the dog starts getting help, and then they crawl up the hole, and when the
All right, now-
dog comes over, they grab it down, and then it's hidden in the hole, and they don't know
Okay,
it.
you know what you're doing right now? You're saying they, and when the reader reads that, they don't know, like, I don't know if your they means the people or if you're talking about trolls. So let's read it and see if you can make a little sense here. Long ago,
The
trolls were
having a slingshot fight.
Right.
Then they dug a hole in the ground. That's
All right.
not good.
Now, I was wondering why, if I just saw a bunch of trolls, where were they having this fight?
Well, they were having it in like this dusty field.
Oh, in a dusty field. Look at how you can make that interesting. Long ago, how many trolls? You were saying like about 20 trolls were having a slingshot fight in a dusty field. Now remember, where is the story taking place?
In a dusty field.
But you say the setting is Mount Baldy. Now think about Norway. Remember when we worked with this? If you're an author that's telling a tale about trolls in Norway, do they have a lot of deserts to have dusty fields in Norway? So could the trolls be having a fight in a dusty field? Not really. Could you pick a better setting for that?
Grace, I think this whole story doesn't make sense to me.
It's not making sense to you.
Yeah,
so.
because then I messed up on people and stuff. I crossed it out.
Make sense out of it? Dulmasar. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Dulfna and Bill's guitar.
church.
Ah.
People get mad.
All right, so just keep crossing out and putting words in till it makes sense. All right? You're getting there though. It looks a little bit puffy. You want the nurse to look at it?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I'll be back.
Okay. All right. So go back. We're having a slingshot fight. So where? Not in the
forest.
in the forest? All right, that's more like Norway, right? In the forest. Could you describe that forest? Could you use a describing word? In the what kind of forest?
Like with a lot of pine trees where there's a lot of boulders there where they can hide.
All right, so tell us that. If you don't have room here, get another piece of paper, describe this forest and what's there, and cut and tape it, and then go on. All right? I'll be back to you. I'm going to go, while you're working on that, I'm going to go see Sarah.
Okay.
All right? Get paper and keep, remember, you did a story map, which gives you the ideas of going through it. Don't forget to keep referring to your story map. Just don't copy it, because that's not really the sentences you want.
I wrote two verbs to my story.
You wrote what?
I wrote two verbs.
What are your two
I
verbs?
wrote
Where's echoed? Right here. Echoed.
Good for you, echoed. That's a great verb.
raced. And
And
raced.
raced, another good verb. You're doing a good job, Justin. Maybe I'll have time to see you later, but I have to see Sarah right now. It's her day, okay? All right, whose seat is this? Oh, Matt, he won't be back for a while, okay. All right, your troll tale. You said you're finished with it, right? All right, let's hear this troll tale, because I think when I was reading it, a few things maybe confused me, but
Little troll.
okay.
My cheese ran.
Don't worry about it.
No more bread and eggs for Ned. Eggs for Ned. What a fella. I'll think again.
Your voice is so soft. Try it again.
Once upon a time, there was a poor family that lived on a mountain. There was Anna, a cute little girl. She had blonde hair and blue eyes. Lars was Anna's brother. He had brown hair and green eyes. Mother and father are similar to each other. They both have brown hair and blue eyes.
All right, now let's go back. So I see now that we have this poor family living up there on a mountain, right? A cute little blonde girl. She has a brother, right? A brown-haired brother, green eyes, and her mom and dad are just kind of ordinary moms and dads. Is that what you mean by they're similar to each other?
They both had brown hair and blue eyes.
all right.
I took one from each.
Oh, I see. So I get it. So that's how the kids ended up with their coloration?
And the brown hair from there.
All right. So now we have this poor family up there. Okay.
One day, Anna decided to take a walk. I wanted to put, but that's when the trouble started, but she put that's when the trouble started.
Yeah, I think that's right. You don't need but in there. I think it makes more sense to put that's when the trouble started. All right, so now we have Anna out there taking a walk. She didn't have any reason for taking the walk. She just did? Okay.
The sun set and she lost